Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another news-related video. This is Show Rose here. I am back to talk about some more news-related videos. This time, talking about, Star Wars and James Earl Jones, which I'll talk about him in a second. But I wanted to talk about Star Wars first, and then talk about James Earl Jones. I actually was not planning on talking about him, but some news came up today, and I wanted to kind of talk about that. So if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys don't like me talking about news stuff, I also do reviews, I do, gaming videos, I do a lot of stuff for everybody to enjoy on the channel. But I kind of want to talk about this because this is something that's pretty interesting and also sad. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So I'm going to tell you guys what's really sad here about Star Wars. Basically, it's really sad that, what Star Wars has become at this point. Star Wars used to be a thing that lots and lots of people really liked. It really did. It used to be a thing people would talk about all the time. Although, I will say, growing up, Star Wars was not my favorite. I think it was a bit overrated. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I think a lot of people liked it at the time, when it came out, because back when it first came out, when the original trilogy came out, there wasn't really a lot of live action space stuff. At that time, it was a different time. I mean, we also had Star Trek too and all that, and I'm sure we had some cartoon stuff that took place in space, but a lot of it was kind of more so a different time, and that's what made Star Wars, and Star Trek so popular franchises. But out of the two, I think Star Wars was the one that was the most popular. It had the most merchandise. It had a lot of stuff, and all that. And of course, when Disney acquired, and Lucasfilm in general, it went freaking right down the toilet. Yeah, it went right down the toilet. It's basically, it went right down the toilet. Instead of focusing on, the fans and all that, they focused more on what they wanted and all that, and more so, and by what they wanted, I mean, basically ruining, George Lucas's work and all that, and retconning everything, and turning it into a freaking cash cow, by making multiple TV shows and movies people do not want. And that's the thing, though. It's just freaking, it's so ridiculous. And they've gotten to they're making so many shows that even people who actually like the new Star Wars, which, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys can like it as long as you respect other people's opinions. And even they have gotten kind of burnt out on it because they're making too much crap and not taking breaks from it. See, back in the day, they did have Star Wars stuff, but not all the time. I mean, we did have the Lego games and all that, and then we had, some Star Wars games here and there, but it wasn't constantly, tons and tons of crap thrown at us, out of in the middle of throughout the year and all that. It's better than having to wait every couple years or something for a Star Wars thing to come out. That's how it was, I think, in the original trilogy. I believe we had to, I wouldn't say we, because I wasn't around then, but a lot of people had to wait for, that stuff to come out and all that, because it took a couple years to make that stuff. It was basically an interesting time and all that, but since the prequels came out, they started making more Star Wars stuff and all, so people wouldn't have to wait, which is something that people liked. I mean, I like, not having to wait a long time for something, but the problem is now it's too much, and a lot of the crap, actually most of it, is not very good. it's not very good anymore. It's freaking just, it's garbage now. It's freaking garbage and all that. And what's happening is because Disney's running out of money, they're starting to do this thing where I think well, some people say they're trying to course correct. I don't even know what they are. Because, I mean, yeah, they're running out of money, they gotta do something. But the thing is, though, is what they've been saying they're gonna do is they're not gonna make as much Star Wars stuff anymore. They're gonna kind of cut back on the Star Wars stuff, like do one show or something a year, which, I mean, would be a good idea. My problem is, though, is I believe they've said this before. Like, I think it was last year they said this. They keep saying this and all that, and they have not done it. They keep milking more crap out. And I mean, you could probably say to a lot of these shows were, already, they were already, in the works, but I mean, they pushed a lot of crap back because, supposedly the writer's strike, which honestly is a bunch of baloney. I mean, yeah, the writer's strike, I'm sure, pushed a lot of their projects back that were made later, or were supposed to be released later on down the road, I should say. But a lot of this crap was already finished. They just been using it as an excuse to basically cancel stuff and all that, because some of this crap is not doing very well and all. The Book of Boba Fett, that show was a dumpster fire, and even Ahsoka, I hear even the Ahsoka show is not doing very good. It's freaking Ahsoka. A lot of people love Ahsoka. They love her, and and the fact is, that's not even selling very well. That's just telling you a bunch about this. It's just telling you a bunch about what Star Wars has become. And all that. And even if they do that, I don't even know if they're going to fix the shows or not. I don't know. Because they really don't know what they're doing with Star Wars. And I mean, they even have freaking Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy, is still in charge of there. And she's been saying a lot of like hurtful and stupid things and all that, that's pissing off the fans and making them run away from the projects they've been making. Yeah, because you got the whole, Force is a female thing and all that, and I'm just freaking hate that. That's just gonna make people mad and all that. And I just don't freaking get it. Like, I don't know how she still has a job. To be fair, though, Bob Iger's still on and Disney and all that too, and he's freaking done a shitty job for the last decade. There's actually been a lot of problems going with him. I've been hearing about that too, and a lot of like commotion with Bob Iger and all that. I told you I don't like the guy. I wish he'd get the boot and get the hell out of the company. And it goes, Kathleen Kennedy too, and put some people in charge that actually know what they're doing with their. I could probably say the same thing about Marvel and all that stuff too, but the thing is though is in Marvel and all that. I mean, it's doing bad too, but it's definitely not failing as bad as I feel like it's Star Wars is and all, and as the whole Disney company as a whole is. I mean, it's still doing bad too, but basically now you got the problem where a lot of their projects are all this crap is just sitting on the shelves at the stores and no one's buying any of it. It's just freaking sitting there, and it's still horribly expensive. I've seen a lot of stuff. Because I remember that. I remember when Disney bought Star Wars, a lot of the products that George Lucas had, it went way up. And a lot of people was questioning it. And a lot of people I knew were like, they're like, it's Disney. Disney's known to be more expensive, but still, it doesn't mean they need to be charging a lot of money for a product, and all that. It's just freaking ridiculous. And that's the problem. A lot of the crap is just it's basically just sitting on the shelf, collecting dust, and that's the problem. That's just basically what Star Wars is anymore. Star Wars is just a freaking dead brand. It's freaking dead. And I don't know if they're course correcting or not. I think they don't even care, because I mean, they've been losing money for a long time now. They've been freaking losing money and all that. They've been chasing people away. The one thing is, though, I'm going to say, though, is basically what's going to happen, though, if they, stop delivering shows and all for Disney Plus. Like Star Wars and all that. That's basically their main selling point is Star Wars on there. What are they going to do, I mean, there's still other shows going to Disney Plus, but Star Wars and all that is their big marketing, thing. What are they going to do once they quit making the shows and take breaks, Because Disney Plus as a whole is also not doing very good. I mean, the freaking platform is in the gutters too. Yeah, I've actually went and looked up the streaming platforms they own, like ESPN and Hulu, and both of those, honestly, if you combine them with Disney and all Disney Plus, they all pretty much add up to. So they really don't have 150 subs. I would say they probably have more. Like I was counting it about like 70-something million subs, which. That's still a lot of subs for a platform, but that's not like still great, especially when a lot of people are probably subscribing for free and all that and whatnot. It's just really bad. It's really bad and all that. And I mean, a lot of people are wanting George Lucas to kind of go back to owning Star Wars. I don't think he's going to. I think honestly, basically he's like old now. He's like I'm not mistaken, I think he's 80 now, 81 maybe. I don't remember how old he is, but he's definitely in his 80s. And he's not probably going to go back to making Star Wars stuff. There's been rumors about him returning, but I don't think he's going to return. I think he's done. He's basically just done at this point, which I don't really blame him. When you're that age and all that, you might as well just not bother. Especially when it's owned by a massive corporation, and all that. But and all that. And plus he's tried to he tried to make the sequel trilogy and all that, and they stabbed him in the back. So I'm like, why would he want to go back to doing it? Like, what if he goes back and and they stab them in the back again, because they do that with their employees all the freaking time. They'll go back and do that, and there's just a lot of crap going on and all that. It's just really sad, what happened to his work and all that, Basically, he sold it to another company to basically, to help him out and fix his company. Well, not fix his company. I mean, keep his company going, because he was getting too old for it, and he would have been better off just keeping it, because at least the brands would still be going. That's kind of what happened. It's really sad. It really is sad what happened. But that's kind of what they kind of what they kind of did there and all that. They kind of ruined his creations. And what's even more sad, and this is kind of where I wanted to talk about the sad news here, is we now have lost the voice actor of James Earl Jones. That's who this guy is right here. We lost the voice actor of Darth Vader. He passed away today. He just passed away, I think about an hour ago is what I saw. I don't know what time he passed away, but he passed away today is what they said. It's crazy how fast, that stuff can pop up, but yeah, he passed away. He was old, though, at least he lived a long life. He was 90, he was 94, I think is what I heard, 94. That's pretty old. But he passed away, and that means we've lost another actor who played in the original trilogy. So we've lost Princess Leia, we've lost the actor who played, Chewbacca, which, I mean, in that case, technically, Chewbacca, all he does is, do it, that roar thing he does. But we've also lost, a lot of other actors, we've lost, I'm trying to remember one, we lost the actual person who played Darth Vader in the suit. And yeah, James Earl Jones was the voice, but we also lost so we lost both sides of the original Darth Vader and all that. So now we're pretty much at the point now where I think the only actors who are left, I don't know, I don't remember if C-3PO died too or not, but I do know that Han Solo, aka Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill are still alive, but we've lost all the other actors. We lost all the other actors, which is a big part of our childhood and all that. And I want to clarify, a lot of these actors too were also in the sequel trilogy too, and it's really heartbreaking, consider they, they fucked up all that stuff and ruined it. And basically now, we can't get one last final thing, with them in it. It's just freaking sad. And yeah, we got AI. They're using AI for his voice and all that, but AI cannot replace an actual person. We all should know that, like watching movies and all that. Technology cannot replace human, experiences. Even if it advances really well, I've seen movies and all, and I know it's kind of crazy to say, but movies are kind of, they kind of teach you that stuff. Like WALL-E, for example. WALL-E's a very good movie, and all that. It teaches you that the humans and all that got lazy and the technology took over, and they were on their screens all the time, and they just weren't having as much fun because, you can't use technology to replace it. Even if you were to make a virtual reality thing, it wouldn't be the same as going into an actual place, and all that. And that's kind of how AI is too. AI is the same way, you can't just replace a human being, it's just kind of how it is. But to be fair, he did do, I think, the best Darth Vader impression, I will say that. But yeah, sadly though, he did end up passing away and all that, which it is definitely sad. But that's the thing, though. It's now that we've lost him, too, we lost another piece of the original trilogy and all that. And we're just pretty much losing pretty much everybody, who played in there and all that. And it's just sad, It's really sad what's kind of happened, And I don't know. I don't really want to say, too, about, they could have done this stuff forever anyway, those movies came out in the 70s. They came out the original one came out a long time ago, so them having to do that would be really hard. So I can totally understand, eventually they're gonna die, but the fact is, like I said, that they, we lost, another person and all that who made it special and all that, and what we have to remember it now is how bad, this stuff has got and all that. It just makes me feel sad, So, I just hate that, it's just, and all that, it just sucks. And soon either Mark Campbell or, Harrison Ford or any of the other actors who are still alive, which is very, very small, they die too, and then, that's another piece of history we lost, and all that too. And it's just sad, It's really sad kind of what happened. And I'm gonna say right now, I know people are not happy with Mark Campbell and all that, and I've seen him post stuff and all that too, which is kind of stupid what he's been posting. But, you gotta admit, though, he was a pretty good Luke Skywalker, too, and all that. And I know a lot of people, and some people are actually over Star Wars in general, don't even want to go back to the original trilogy. I hate Disney Star Wars, and I refuse to watch, any more of it, but I will always go back to watch the older stuff. I will do that. Even if, even with... I don't like the people who are in charge of it now and all that and whatnot. It's just kind of how it is and all that. But, I don't know. But this is just kind of a sad thing and all that. But I guess may our voice actor of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, rest in peace. And I don't think I've got really anything else to say, so I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here. See you all later. Bye-bye.